term holography before? Alright, holography is really cool. Holography is getting into this idea that all information is available, fractally available to everyone. And we get into these ideas now, that after we looked at all the electrons and the waves and everything like that, of the idea that particles and information and energy are in a state of superposition, in the sense that if we can give information to ourselves via the particles in our body through time and through space, we approach an idea called super psi. Super psi is a term from the Stanford Research Institute in California study into remote viewing. Remote viewing is a crazy anomaly in the sense that they did a lot of incredible studies with regular people and psychics of being able to see things happening in the future that came true, see things in other places that were completely true and verifiable. And these are all double-blind tests. That means that they might just be given some coordinates of somewhere on the planet. And they say, what's happening there tomorrow? And they'll close their eyes and be like, oh, I see this or that. And then they can verify if it happened or not. But no one actually knows what was going to happen, so it's double-blind. Holography is this idea that everything is affecting everything. Everything contains all information. So basically there's a field of energy in our world where everything is being shared. And a really easy way to understand holography is to look at the way film on a camera works. A lot of you might not realise this, but the old school film on a camera is a strip of plastic, but on top is a layer of crystals. So it's like a garden of crystals, and they all get exposed to the light. Now, in this room, if we put a whole bunch of crystals, right, each individual crystal would be reflecting all the other crystals. Each one would be influencing each other, right? Another way to look at it is that if you get a spider web filled with water droplets, each water droplet contains the reflection of all the other water droplets, okay? So the total information of all the water droplets around the spider web is existing in each water droplet. Now, the idea of holography and where this comes from is if you get a photographic negative and all that layer of crystals, each crystal is reflecting, just like the spider web, all of the other crystals. Alright? So, if you chop a little bit of that photographic negative out, you can still reproduce the entire thing, because that little set of crystals has the total image available. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a beautiful new autumn sky painting from BC, Canada, of the planet with a web around it, and all of these people around the outside of the web, and all their different cultures and hands tugging on the web. And this is an incredible image of holography, where we are all sharing everything on a fractal level. And what I mean by fractal geometry is the idea that everything exists inside everything, okay? And again, this supports this whole super psi concept that we're all aware of everything. And it's important to realize that the reason this isn't obvious is because if it was obvious, we would go crazy. If we were all aware of everything all the time, it would be just like an explosion of white light that you couldn't control. It would be like having a huge, having too much dimethyltryptamine, too much information, okay? Our bodies are tuned in such a way that we can move into what Alan Watts calls spotlight consciousness. That means I'm just perceiving this room, I'm just perceiving you guys and some ideas and some intuitions. However, if I change my state of consciousness, consciously or any other way, I could start perceiving other things. Anyone can do this. Other places, other times, other ideas, past, future, present. Start to move our awareness out into other people and other information. We can all do this. And the thing is there's no limits. And we get back to mysticism. It's the sensual understanding that we're connected to the entire universe. And understanding that we are all a part of the universe. The environment out there, we are a part of that total environment. We're all a part of each other. And once you look at these quantum experiments like we did before, we're sharing all this information through this field of energy. And again, it's not happening all the time just so we can be sane. And again, Alan Watts he says that you can turn this into floodlight consciousness. Floodlight, like a light just going out, where you're becoming aware of so many different things. Because you want to. Like having a sonar and just going, what's happening all the way around me, through these walls? What's happening around me tomorrow? What's happening in this room tomorrow? What's happening in this room last week? What's happening on the other side of the planet? Again, remote viewing, these sorts of things. These remote viewing guys, these are regular people. And to actually do tests, they would pull someone out of the office next door and put them there and be like, here's some coordinates, what do you see? Shut your eyes. And they'd be like, I see like a submarine or something like that being loaded onto a dock. And they'd be like, cool. They would hand that, this is in the 70s, they'd hand that over to the CIA, and the CIA would be like, and they'd look at a satellite photo and go, oh, that's bang on. There's a submarine in Russia being loaded onto a dock. And that was a regular person they just pulled out of an office. The more naive someone is, the less analytical overlay they have, and they're going to get better hits, they call them a remote viewing. Again, this idea of superside, we're constantly aware of everything we want to be. The only information that person had was those coordinates. The person who gave the coordinates doesn't know what they are or where it's going. That's a really incredible thing here, is we just have this ability to actually find anything that you want. Again, all this sort of information is so available if you just go sit in the forest and get some space and tune your awareness. And there's so many different ways we can tune our awareness to become more sensitive. And the best way to do this is through food choices and detoxing, this sort of thing. So yeah, the holography thing is just an incredible way to look at the world. And sorry, yeah, getting back to the fractal geometry thing. The fractal geometry thing is the idea that if you get like a star, you can use any shape you want. And you can just say, we'll draw another star in here. And it's easy to do this on a computer. Now if I keep going down and down and down and down and down and down, and draw another star, draw another star, draw another star, draw another star, and then keep going down. The information stored is infinite. You can just keep going, right? So this idea of fractal geometry in the sense that all information can be contained in any kind of small space. In that sense, through understanding holography, that kind of spider web, we are the water droplets in the spider web. And we're all reflecting parts of each other. And through each person has the total reflection of all the other people. Alright? And again, this is supported by these quantum physics experiments, where all this information seems to be available. And again, this is supported by these experiments with these psychology experiments as well. We just got access to anything. And again, this is supported by dudes like Rudolf Steiner or this guy, Khan, where these people are basically downloading information. And sometimes people are downloading information from themselves, from the future or from the past, and they become quite aware of it. And it's just an amazing, amazing thing. So, the total information in the universe is contained in each of our bodies. And that's when things get really, really interesting, to look at it like that. And this is pretty far out stuff. And again, any inquiry into physics on this level is always kind of come back to a spiritual ramification. And any inquiry like this in physics is going to also come back to the fact that we're all one. Right? And when you look at the fact that we're all one, things get really interesting, because then when you're healing yourself, you're healing everyone else. When you're healing yourself, you're healing the planet. When you're healing yourself, you're healing the universe. When you're giving a gift to someone, you're giving it to yourself. When you understand that the people around you are you, and you give, it's just the same as receiving. So in the Law of One, this is an amazing channeled document from the 1980s in the United States. There's an energy called Ra who is speaking through the body of a woman called Carla Rocket, and this energy called Ra said some pretty interesting things. And one of the things he said was, give/receive. These sorts of energies don't see the difference at all. This is just the way they talk. Give/receive. These are the same thing. And the Law of One, we're all one, giving and receiving the same thing because we're all one. The same with teaching and learning. He would say teach/learn. It's teaching and learning are the same thing because we're all one. Right? So the more you operate on a level of oneness on your day-to-day life, things get really, really cool. Alright? Because you start to see yourself and other people. If you have an experience with someone you perceive as negative, You start to see aspects of yourself in them. This negative person who you're interacting with, you think, well, if I was being negative like that, what do I need? And that person needs, essentially, for their healing, love and light from you, unconditionally, no matter how they're behaving. And you'll see this in people, especially advanced spiritually people. They will treat people without judgment and unconditionally with love and light.